form off the email, or maybe we can get some printed up and have it at the next meeting. But if you get a hive of bees, you put it in your backyard, by law, it has to be registered. You send your name in with your location, you have one hive or two, they will send you back a registration number. That's good for 3 years. You have to renew every 3 years. That is a law. There's a fellow, a state beekeeper, our state apiarist in Nashville, he carries a badge and he can fine you if he finds you out of compliance. We have some bills in Congress, in our state Senate, that I'm going to cover. One of them that's really of good importance, I'm going to read it. No county, municipality, consolidated government, or other political subdivision of this state shall adopt or continue in effect any ordinance or resolution prohibiting, impeding, or restricting the establishment or maintenance of honeybees in hives. Your city that you live in, Jackson, or these other cities, any county you live in, they cannot pass any rules or regulations on your hive. There are state rules that I'll go over, a few of them. By the way, when they opened that door early and all them papers flew away, they were mad. These bills in Congress, I thought they'd already been passed. The governor hadn't signed them, as far as I could tell from Eldridge, our state rep. But House bill is 1671 and the Senate bill is 1963 that's been presented, and hopefully shortly the governor will sign it into law. The bill specifies a whole lot of things about beekeeping. I'm not going to go into details of the honey house which Mike has. And, you know, if you have over 250 pounds of honey a year that you make, you're subject to be inspected by the Agriculture Department, which we come under now. And there's Yahoo rules on all of that. It has nothing to do with that if you locate the hive. In addition, when you get a hive of bees, where are you going to put it? Well, the ideal place would be a big 100-acre field with bees in the middle and 10 acres of mellow lotus clover around it, and then some vitex, and then some fruit trees, and then a row or two of locust trees, and some maple trees. They'd have something to work all year, but I don't know where you'll find them. Bees will adapt to anywhere. They'll adapt to downtown Memphis. There are people that have flat roofs in Memphis that keep bees on top of it. They will adapt to most anything. The amount of honey you get will determine on where the bees are. Even if the bees survive, will determine where they are. There are areas that bees can't survive in, period. They got to have over 100 pounds of pollen. You got to make about 40 pounds of clover, about honey every year, just for them. And there's a lot of places that don't happen. And around towns, you have a lot of flowers and gardens. And these ladies go out there and they spray their flowers with stuff to kill them in the middle of the day, and that's when bees are working. But anyway, they'll survive if you keep them kind of isolated away. The best part to have them is in your backyard or close proximity to where you can drive to them. I kept some bees up on the Tennessee River when I was younger. And you had to walk about 50 yards down a steep hillside. That's as near as you could drive to them. And you carry super honey 50 yards down the hill, you got to be young. Anyway, you want to locate them where you can drive to. If not drive to, at least a four-wheel. You don't want to pick up a super honey no more than here to here, especially when you get old. But you want them located where you can drive to them and see about them. And right now with the insecticides, with the pesticides, the beetles, the mites, and everything else that we've got, you need to look at your bees at least every 2 weeks. It wouldn't hurt sometimes to look at them more often if you detect any kind of problem. So they need to be located where you can easily get to them. You don't have to wait a creek to do it. And the ideal place would be close to water. If there's no little pond or a creek or something nearby, which they really like, you need to put water out for them. I might have got ahead of myself. In the state law here, it says that you must provide water closer than the neighbor, a swimming pool or anything, any other water. You have to provide water closer than anything else. That may mean you need to keep water within 25 or 30 feet in a bird bath or whatever. Maybe a pond behind your house or whatever. But they will go to neighbor's swimming pool. And if you, according to this, if you keep water closer to them than that, neighbor can raise all the cane he wants to, he drown your bees, but he can't do nothing about it. You're clear. You've complied with the law. You also want to locate them, it depends on how many hives you've got. I wouldn't want over 10 hives in any location. If I had 20 hives, I'd want the second 10 2 or 3 miles away from the first 10. So they're going to be overlapping territory trying to get what is available. If you got a 100-acre bean field, that's fine. You can put hives all the way around it. But you don't need them too close together. One of the other things you have to do, according to this bill, you have to post a honeybee caution sign in or near your acreage. You just have one hive, put it back in the backyard or whatever. You have to limit the number of hives you have in relation to your lot size. And I don't think they knew what they're talking about, because you can put 4 acres on a half acre. And if your lot's downtown Jackson and you have a half acre, I guarantee you with 4 hives, if they do real good, your neighbor's probably going to holler. But there are things that will keep them from even knowing you've got them. If you have more than 1 acre, you can have 8 colonies. Regardless of the lot size, if you're 200 feet from any direction from anybody else's property, you can have as many as you want to. Now, let's don't tell you how to put them, but you really should set your beehives facing east, southeast, whatever. So when the sun comes up, they get the early morning sun, they warm up quicker, they'll go to work quicker. You've got some facing southeast in the sun versus some over here under a shade tree. These will work an hour earlier than those will work. So you need them, I keep mine 100% in the sun. One reason is they can stand the heat better than the mites and the beetles can. They don't like heat. In fact, if you keep the hive so high, they say that the mites will even vacate. Also, you must have your hive at least 50 feet from an animal that is in a cage or on a leash, because they couldn't get away from the bees if they stung them. You cannot open your hives when neighbors are present in the immediate vicinity. Now this is a good cookie here, number 8. You have to manage your colonies to minimize swarming. That's a good law. I don't tell you how to do it. They're not beekeepers who wrote the law. Also, if you have colonies that are very, very aggressive, that you need to notify your state apiarist, and it tells you how to collect the bees and put them in a jar, send them to them to see if they're Africanized. Anytime you're going out for a public demonstration with bees in an observation hive, it says you're to avoid release of any honeybees to the public. Good note. Anyway, that just about covers the location of your hives and what you have to have around it. And if anybody has any questions about whatever I was supposed to talk about, be glad to answer, or anything else that I can. Well and done.